Have you ever heard of courage so pure that even bullets couldn't stop it? A woman, alone, outnumbered and outgunned, stood between life and death and still refused to back down. She was shot 4 times, bleeding on the battlefield, but she kept fighting, dragging 2 wounded Navy SEALs to safety while chaos exploded around her. This isn't just a story of pain. It's a story of heart, of strength, and of what happens when someone decides that giving up isn't an option. Stay with me till the end, because when you hear what she said after being rescued, you'll understand why heroes like her are the reason humanity still has hope. And before we dive in, this is Grow for Justice, the channel that brings you stories of real courage, compassion, and sacrifice. That if you believe in the power of human spirit, hit that subscribe button right now. And in the comments, tell me, where are you watching from? It happened on a night the desert turned red. Afghanistan, 2012, that Operation Iron Dagger had begun just before dawn. An extraction mission gone sideways. A convoy of U.S. Special Forces was ambushed on a narrow mountain road near Khyber province. Gunfire rained down from the cliffs, RPGs shattered armored vehicles, and chaos swallowed radio channels. Among the team was Sergeant Laura Jensen, a 29-year-old combat medic attached to a Navy SEAL platoon. Laura wasn't supposed to be there. Her primary task was medical support at base, stabilizing the wounded after extraction, not fighting on the front lines. But when 2 SEALs went down during the mission, she volunteered to move with the quick reaction force that, no hesitation, no second thought. That decision would define her life forever. The ambush came fast. They never saw the shooters until tracer rounds sliced through the darkness like fireflies. That Laura's Humvee took a hit, tires shredded, smoke pouring from the engine. She ducked low, clutching her rifle as the driver yelled, "We're hit! We're hit!" The SEALs jumped out, returning fire from both sides of the road. Screams. Explosions. The smell of burning diesel and blood. Then she heard it, a voice over the comms. "Man down. 2 men down." Her heart froze. Those words, she had heard them before in training, but never like this. Not with that desperation. Without waiting for orders, she sprinted through open fire toward the call. Her boots pounded the dirt. Bullets cracked the ground around her feet. She slid behind a half-collapsed wall, found the first SEAL, Lieutenant Ramirez, bleeding from the shoulder and leg. His partner, Chief Petty Officer Duran, was a few feet away, unconscious, his vest riddled with shrapnel. "Stay with me," she yelled, pressing gauze into Ramirez's wound. He groaned, clutching her wrist. "You shouldn't be here." "Too late," she replied. "We're all here now." Another explosion rocked the hill. Debris rained down. Her ears rang. She grabbed Duran by his vest straps and began dragging him backward toward cover. Her muscles screamed. He was heavy, almost 90 kilos with gear. Every meter felt like lifting a mountain. She didn't stop. Then came the first bullet. It tore through her left arm, spinning her sideways. The pain was blinding. She fell but refused to stay down. The second hit caught her in the shoulder. Hot, tearing pain that made her vision flash white. But still she crawled, inch by inch, dragging the unconscious SEAL through dust and fire. Her mind screamed, "Keep moving." The third shot grazed her ribs, ripping through her vest, and burning her skin. By the fourth, she couldn't feel her legs. Her blood soaked the sand beneath her. But in her ears, one sound drowned out everything. The heartbeat of the man she was trying to save. Weak but alive. Somewhere behind her, a voice yelled, "Medic down." But Laura didn't respond. She wasn't thinking about herself. She pushed Duran's body behind a half-broken vehicle, shielding him with her own as bullets pinged off the metal. She pressed a bandage to her arm, ignoring the warm flow of blood. Her right hand shook as she loaded a fresh magazine. "Come on," she whispered. "Come and get me." Minutes passed like hours. Backup arrived. Marines storming the ridge, suppressing the attackers with machine gun fire. Laura barely registered it. Her world was fading. All she could think of was keeping Ramirez breathing and Duran alive. When the shooting finally stopped, medevac helicopters thundered overhead. The rescue team found her half-conscious, still gripping the SEAL's hand. She had lost nearly half her blood. The medics tried to lift her onto the stretcher, but she shook her head. "Take them first," she whispered. They had to sedate her to move her. She woke up 3 days later in a military hospital in Germany, the white ceiling above. Her blurred as she blinked through the pain. Her arm was bandaged from shoulder to wrist. Her ribs were wrapped tight, and sitting beside her bed, two men, Ramirez and Duran, both alive, both in uniform, both silent, staring at her with eyes full of something words couldn't describe. When she tried to sit up, Ramirez stopped her gently. "Easy, Sergeant. You've done enough." Duran, still weak, took her hand and said the words that would follow her forever. "You didn't just save us. You reminded us what we fight for." She smiled faintly. "I just did my job." But that wasn't the end. Weeks later, back in the U.S., Laura was recovering at home when she heard a knock at the door. When she opened it, her heart stopped. .2 Navy SEALs in dress uniform stood on her porch. Behind them, 5 more, in full formation. And in front, a senior officer holding a small box. He saluted her. "Sergeant Jensen," he said, "on behalf of the United States Navy and the Special Warfare Command, we are here to thank you." She tried to protest. "I didn't do it for thanks." But he shook his head. "You did it because that's who you are. You stood where most people would have run. You bled so others could live. And that's something this country will never forget." He opened the box. Inside, a silver medal glimmering softly. The Navy and Marine Corps Medal, one of the highest awards for non-combat heroism. As the SEAL stood at attention, she felt tears roll down her cheeks. For the first time, she allowed herself to cry. Not from pain, but from pride. Months passed. Her wounds healed, but the scars remained, a reminder of what courage looks like when it refuses to die. She returned to duty, not in combat, but as an instructor, training medics in crisis response, teaching them how to stay calm under fire. She never boasted. She never called herself a hero. But the men whose lives she saved visited her every year on the same date, the anniversary of Operation Iron Dagger. No press, no speeches, just 3 people who had faced death together and lived. When reporters later asked her why she did it, her answer was simple: "Because they would have done it for me." And that, my friends, is the story of Sergeant Laura Jensen. Shot 4 times, still standing, and never once thinking of herself. In a world where courage often hides behind silence, she proved that real heroes don't need recognition. They just need a reason to keep going. If this story touched your heart, then don't scroll away without doing 2 things. Hit that subscribe button right now to join our community here at Grow for Justice. And tell us in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? Because courage like Laura's belongs to all of us, no matter where we come from.